The next thing we need to do is add items for our ToolStrip navigation. As we mentioned earlier, the ToolStrip provides two interfaces for designing items on your ToolStrip. It has an in-place interactive menu, which you can trigger by selecting a drop-down button, or you can use the Items Collection Editor for ToolStrips. We'll experiment with both. By looking at the drop-down list, you can see all the different elements you can add to a ToolStrip. Button, label, split buttons, drop-down buttons, etc. Things that you can expect in a ToolStrip. If you look at Visual Studio's ToolStrips, you can see it has a combination of separators, buttons, and drop-down menus. You can actually create a similar look and feel to Visual Studio with the Save button and the Open button by choosing the option to insert standard options, or by right-clicking, you can choose to add your own customizable control. Let's go ahead and add a button. By default, a button will be added with a generic image element. Let's go ahead and modify this. A ToolStrip button provides different styles, such as image, which you see here, text, and both image and text. We'll use the latter as our style for the ToolStrip buttons on our navigation system. First, let's give it a name. By default, it's called ToolStrip Button 1. It's reflected both in the text style as well as in the name itself. Scroll to the top and change the name to be ToolStrip Button Find Item. This button will allow the user to navigate to the screen that allows them to search for different items in the inventory. We selected Find Item. The next thing we select is Display Style. As we indicated, we want it to be both image and text. So from the drop-down menu, select Image and Text. Next, let's set a few more properties of our ToolStrip button. We want to spend a lot of time setting this button because it's going to serve as the basis for all other buttons. Once we've created this button, we'll simply copy-paste it to copy over any common denominators. Later on, we'll go back and customize each button with an appropriate image. The next thing we'll do is modify both margins and padding for this control. Let's scroll down to Margins. Let's set this to be standard, all zeros. Type in 0, 0, 0, 0. If you take a look at the button on your screen, you'll see the changes as we're making them. So for the padding, let's change that to be 3 on all four sides. Type in 3, 3, 3, 3. Now you can see in the design pane we have a little bit more room around our text and our image. Now let's go ahead and change the name of this. Let's change the name to be Find Item. Let's change the text alignment to be middle left. We also have a visual indicator just like we did with the dock property. Select middle left. To make it easy, now that we have a control property set, we can just copy this control over and over again until we have all the elements we need. Select the Find Item button and copy it. Altogether, we need 8 controls. And now let's go ahead and configure each of these controls. We'll need 4 controls that do searching. One for item that we already have, one for group, which is actually going to be a series of one or many items, one for selling that allows us to see any items in our inventory that are currently on sale, and then lastly, to be able to search for anything that's already been sold, meaning not in our inventory. So let's go ahead and change not only the text property, but also the name of the ToolStrip button for each of these. For the name of the second control, replace the 6 at the end of ToolStrip button 6 with Find Group. For the text, replace the text with the words Find Group. For the Selling button, replace the text Find Item with the words Find Selling. Now, change the name from ToolStrip button 5 to ToolStrip button Selling. For the next button, Sold, let's change the ToolStrip button 4 name to be ToolStrip button Sold. And then for the text, change the text to read Find Sold. Now we have all our capabilities for doing searches. Select the Find item. Right above this, we want to add a separator to group all our Find capabilities into one section. right-click, select Insert, Separator. Now let's configure the next set. The next set will allow us to administer our data, so to create an item, to create a group, to create a selling record, and to create a sold item. We can actually group both item and grouping into one single form, so we'll have one form called Create Item. We'll have a separate one for creating selling, and a third one for creating sold records. This will actually allow us to get to a form that inputs data into a custom database. Let's go ahead and configure these in both their text property as well as their name property. For the text, change the text to read Create Item. For the name, change it from ToolStrip button 3 to ToolStrip button Create Item. For the name of the next control, change the name from ToolStrip button 2 to ToolStrip button Create Selling. Now go to the text property. Change the text to read Create Selling. For the text of the next button, change the text to read Create Sold. And now scroll to the top and change the name from ToolStrip button 1 to ToolStrip button Create Sold. And lastly, we have one button to deal with. This will be our catalog, a catalog of all the items in our inventory. Let's go ahead and click on it, right-click, Insert, Separator, and modify the name to be ToolStrip button View Catalog. And change the text property to be View Catalog. Select Save All to save all your changes.